It's that time of year again where we reflect on so many things. I have had a lot of ironic picks in word choices or phrase choices slash hashtags, whatever you want to call them, to kind of theme each of my years around. And I think 2026 is probably going to be the most appropriate yet. Let's have a chat. Welcome to the Vlogmas 2025 edition of Sitting Down with Soul Writer. It's good to see all of you. Welcome on in. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Alongside the raw healing stories, my characters, and the Myrna annals weave throughout time and space, we do get together and have these chats. And we talk about life things from the soul, nerdy and not. So Mama Maggie Ward, Penumbra Mine, Mama Maggie Ward, and Sarah Cannon, and others often talk about picking a word, phrase, hashtag, quote, something to center yourself as a year goes by. I've been doing this seriously for my writing life since 2022. Prior to that, I had admin at schools I worked at who would have us do those kind of activities. These ones have had greater impacts and lasting effects than those, though. So what have been the ones I've done in the past? And let's take a look and talk about what I'm doing for 2026. Let's go ahead along for the ride. Feel welcome to comment yours in the description box below, past and future, or present. Either way. In 2022, I said dreams come true. Well, in 2022, I definitely made a huge dream come true. I moved away from a toxic situation that I could not heal in. The first streaming space that I was streaming from here was literally a corner of my childhood bedroom that I was renting, and the roof was leaking so badly that it was leaking onto my pillow at night, and that was the final straw. As an asthmatic, I didn't want to go through that anymore, and I was told it's up to you to fix it, and I'm going, I don't have that kind of money. At the time, I was working full-time and multiple part-time jobs while trying to start my author career, and barely making $40K a year. And that was being generous. So dreams came true. I got out of a very mentally, financially, emotionally, asthmatically speaking, toxic situation. And that was literally the end of that year, was how things went. 2022, I call the year I got a wake-up call via spanking. Like, literally the world took a Rafiki style stick and spanked me over the head with it and bonked me over the head with it several times, because it took me almost until the 12th hour to get out of that place. And therefore 2023 was all about blessings be. I opened my business in 2023. I did the rebrand relaunch revolution in 2023. I realized that I could afford to rent a place on my own 2 feet. And even though that apartment that I totally adored very, very much did not last long, they basically kicked me out to just raise the rent, was the only reason why. And guess what's sitting empty again? Every December, that apartment has somebody moving out of it. Goes to tell you the kind of leasing place they are, huh? Then in 2024, I said open doors. I kind of caused what happened with that townhouse, moving into it, an open door at the beginning of the year, kinda, and moving out of it, an open door into here. It's like, yep, I did that to myself. That was literal. And 2025 originally I said was progress, not perfection, but actually it became progress to the better. I don't want perfection, I just want better, because that's the way life has gotten for me since losing Angel in 2021. I often, when I talk to my therapist and one of my mentors about how much losing Angel changed me, they often remind me, you know, your child's DNA still floats around in you for a long time. And the effect of stem cells on the mother's body long term. And they said it's not uncommon for even a failed pregnancy for the mom to change as a person after. And they're both right. I really have been prompted by many, many, many people this year to look back how things were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago, 13 years ago. A lot of, for those of you who believe in astrology and numerology, a lot of shifts have been going on, not just inside of us as humans and inside of us as humanity, but literally, cosmically speaking, the shifts are proportionately as large, is fair to say. So, acknowledging that those of us who feel like it was a rocky time the last couple of years, how much of it was we were also being prepared for something greater is always the positive question I often get tossed my way. And I took that as not like a poisonous positive question. And I finally said, okay, let me consider this question seriously, logically. I am in a much better place mentally and financially than I was even 6 months ago. I'm double that from where I was a year ago. And it's better. It's not perfect. It's nowhere close to where I would like it to be. It's way better. It's compared to where I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I can actually take a day off that isn't like the week of a holiday. That was not true when I first started doing YouTube, because I was still teaching full time at a school that was a year-round school, mind you. I had classes in the US for the US's normal schedule, but we had a sister school that I also taught for in Brazil and France and Japan. So I taught according to their schedules. So technically, our teacher staff for that school that I was working at when I first started here was a year-round school schedule. We had trimesters for that reason. Our US kids got the summer trimester for us off. Normally, the Brazilian students and the students in Japan had their trimester off when it was winter for us. So it worked. It worked. It was an odd platform. Boy, did it work. I was very sad to see that the funding for that school got pulled in 2022 and that I lost that job. So I very much am not people pleasing as willingly as I used to a couple years ago. So that's a big change. Like all the things I've wanted to claim the last couple of years have been about changes and the better coming. Therefore, continuing the progress of that in 2025 made so much sense. And 2025 did not feel like progress while it was happening. Looking back, a lot has happened, though. I quite thoroughly enjoy the fact that going to vending events now, it's I get to see so-and-so and hang around so-and-so and vend near so-and-so. Like, I have people that when I go to vending events will hunt me down as another vendor and be like, hey, do you need a break? Can I run and get you something to eat or drink? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Like, I have people that I see all the time to where if I don't have an assistant or they don't have an assistant, can I swap and share your assistant for a day? And my Fae crew just... You all met me at a time when I was ready to give up. It was a rough tour. There were some tour events where they sold 3 tickets for over 100 vendors and didn't tell us vendors. Yeah, I attended a couple of those markets this year. There were events where they sold thousands of dollars worth of tickets, but people were just coming for the experience and to walk around and just talk. So yeah, that's netted me some long-term things. I have a vlog about that here on the channel as a reflection of, and there were a couple of times where I wondered, should I have waited one more year to do my tour? And I'm glad I didn't. I would have never met some people who are now part of our sprinting chats weekly. I see you. And I'll get to see some of you here in person soon at the Time Travelers Ball, too, in a couple of weeks. And then again at Mythicon in February. So for the first time in a very, 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 very long time, as my therapist challenged me as part of the tour, find ways to break your hermit mode apart. I think what I'm choosing as my word/phrase for 2026 is super appropriate. Break through the glass. Whatever happened before used to be our glass ceiling. It is now the bottom glass to our boat, y'all. And my boat and my lighthouse give me free range to go up and down the coastline of life and shine as brightly as I want to because of breaking through. And this is why in my newest newsletter over on Substack, description box below, I did call this month Building Up My Limit Break Bar. Because those of you who are Final Fantasy VII fans, Final Fantasy 8, 9, 10, whatever fans, when that limit break is accessible, you know how glorious it is when it has time to shine for its maximum length of time when you're all ready to go and use it. And I think this year, between streamlining the business, eating lots of humble pie that I deserved, and really taking time to realize what I did not want to go back to, because full-time work has been on my horizon this year. I'm exhausted. Some of you are like, Jenna, how? You do what you got to do to keep a roof over your head and keep the bills paid. I will say that. I know I live in one of the most expensive states to live in the Union, and it has so many benefits because it's one of the safer states to live in, even though we're right next to DC. Anyway, as an ally, I don't want to leave because there's a great allyship in my community, and I like being part of supporting that. And I keep wanting to, now more than ever, strangely give back to you all, my virtual community. Give away about our 1,800 subs that we passed a while ago, coming soon, because I is behind. I apologize. I love you all. But also locally. So thank you all for being here. We planted so many seeds the last couple of years, and sometimes those seeds hibernate for a really long time. I hope for most of us, those seeds become huge trees because we've proven we're ready to go to the moon. take care of you. You, your books, your characters, all matter. And the world needs to hear your voice and theirs now more than ever. Dang it.